glad Tony Nadal and Bill Beck are here to back me up if I need help, although we're getting along in the tooth for fist fights. It's a genuine honor. I'm very humbled to receive it. I'm not really accustomed to this sort of thing. The thing about reporters, if you're going to be good at it, you got to want to know how to get places where nobody in their right mind would want to go. And I was good at that. And I would tell you that in the October, before I went into the Ia Drang, I heard about a special forces camp named Play Me out of Pleiku up in the Highlands, and I heard they were surrounded by a full regiment of North Vietnamese regulars, and I wanted to get in there. I don't know why. I just did. And I had developed in 7 months some skills at getting places. One of them involved playing poker with Texas Aggie Huey pilots. Stood me in great good stead. And I ran into one of them. I said, he said, "What's wrong, Joe?" And I said, "I'm trying to get into Play Me camp, and they've closed the damn airspace." He said, "Well, yeah, they've shot down 2 Hueys, an A-1E and a B-57 Canberra bomber up there. They got those 50 caliber machine guns everywhere." I said, "I don't care. I still want to go." And he said, "I'd like to take a look at it myself, so come on, I'll give you a ride." And sure enough, I took a picture out of the open door of that chopper. It was on its side, and you can see that triangular camp perfectly in the door of that Huey, and all these puffs of smoke where the enemy mortars are landing, where we're going to land. And we dropped in, and I jumped off, and they threw some wounded aboard, and my buddy is going over the wire and over the mountain, making rude gestures through the plexiglass at me. But that was only the half of it. A master sergeant ran up to me and he said, "Sir, I don't know who you are, but Major Beckwith wants to see you right away." And I said, "Who would he be?" And he said, "It's that very big man over there jumping up and down on his hat. This is not a good sign." I walked over very slowly and made the acquaintance of Major Charlie Beckwith, a bear of a man out of Georgia, I would later learn. He said, "I'm going to edit this a little bit. There are ladies in the room. Who in the blankety blank blank are you?" I said, "I'm a reporter." He said, "Jesus Christ," he says, "I need everything in the world, and what has the Army sent me? He said, I need ammo, I need medevac, I need all kinds of supplies. I would love a box of cigars and a bottle of Jim Beam, and the Army has sent me a godforsaken reporter." He said, "Son, I have news for you. I have no vacancy for a reporter, but I am in desperate need of a corner machine gunner, and you're it." Well, my ride is going over the mountain, so I said, "Yes, sir." And he gave me about a 10-minute instruction on the care and feeding and the loading and unjamming of the 30 caliber light air-cooled machine gun, and he put me on it, and I was on it for 2 nights and 3 days. And finally, the relief column came, and 2 battalions of this cavalry division landed in helicopters, and I was going out the gate to join up with the cab, and they were going to sweep these hills and see what the Air Force had done to all our enemy. And I went over to say goodbye to Major Beckwith, and he allowed I had done a right good job on the machine gun. And said if I wanted to sometime I could go with him on some of their more regular missions across the line in Laos. And I said, how long would that take? And he said, about 2 weeks. And I said, sir, I'm probably going to get fired for being incommunicado these last 3 days. I work for a wire service, and they're kind of insistent on us filing stories every day, so I'll decline your kind offer. He said, you're not carrying a piece. And I said, technically speaking, in spite of the use you have commandeered me into these last 3 days, I'm a civilian non-combatant. He shook his head and he spat and he said, son, there's no damn such thing in these mountains. Sergeant Major, go get that man an M16 and a bag of magazines. He's going to need them. And you know, he was right. I marched out of there with that rifle on my shoulder and those magazines on my hip. And 3 weeks later, I was in the Iadrang Valley. And I used my camera, and I used that M16, and I tried to do my best to be a good soldier in a time when that was urgently needed. I carried water for the wounded. I carried ammo for those who needed that, and I carried the wounded in my arms to the helicopters. The thing is that I left that battlefield on the 16th of November. And my heart had changed. I knew that 79 young Americans had laid down their precious lives so that I might survive to tell their story. Another 130 had been terribly wounded. I have felt that obligation every day of my life since then. It kept me going back to Vietnam. It kept me going back to wars until 2006 in Iraq. 43 years of it. And always to tell the story of soldiers, Marines, airmen, even the squids sometimes. And you know, I look at Tony over there grinning like a monkey eating cuckleburs. And after this battle, Hal Moore would call me or send a message or send a smoke signal or send a Huey to find me and bring me back. We're planning an op, and you need to go. And I'm going to send you to the 1st to the 7th. Well, I'd go to the 1st to the 7th, but I always went to Alpha Company after this. I always went to Tony's company, marched with them, and on those few occasions when things were peaceful, and maybe we even got one of those thermal cans of split pea soup on a bald hill somewhere in the Bong Son Plain. Yeah, I shared a cigar. But, you know, when they brought a infantry company in the middle of nowhere, a thermite can of split pea soup that was hot, I thought, you know, we might win this damn thing. But I always dug a hole with Tony. We spread our poncho liners, lay back under the stars and talk about what we were going to do after this war. I didn't know that after this war there would be another and another and another and another, and I would keep going to them. I had one of the Iadrang veterans come up to me at a reunion, and he said, I want you to answer a question for me. I said, sure. He said, You know, I didn't join the damn army. They drafted me. And I didn't volunteer to go to Vietnam. They ordered me to go. And I certainly didn't want to get on any helicopter going into the Ia Drang Valley. They ordered me again. He said, what in the world was your excuse? And I said, I was 23 years old and just as crazy as hell. And so that's my excuse. And I thank you. This has been a hard year for me. First, we lost Hal Moore. And then this past week, we lost my other best friend, in fact, General Dick Cavazos, who's really the soul of the Army, as far as I was concerned. And for 25 years, General Cavazos and I were quail hunting buddies in South Texas with Colonel Ted Fehrenbach and General Mark Cisneros. We formed a South Texas mafia and had some great times, and I got to listen to some absolutely marvelous war stories. I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world, but I wish my friends were still here. Thank you. God bless you all.